I wanted to share a really important framework that I learned about that I think articulates the motivations and drivers of a good culture and the detractors. And this is something that I think could be applied to any company because it really is a philosophy. And then it's up to you to figure out how to implement, how to measure, and understand where you fit. So the first factor are the direct motives that are up on top. And in order of strength and how much they augment performance and happiness, play is the biggest driver, purpose is the next biggest driver, and then potential is the least important driver, but still a driver. And then on the negative impact side, emotional pressure is the first negative driver. Economic pressure is a slightly larger driver, and then inertia is the most destructive driver. So, what does this mean? When we talk about play, play is the idea of giving people autonomy, right? The autonomy to do their job, perform how they see best, rather than constraining them with a set of prescribed practices. This could be how you answer a customer call, how you craft an email. It could be so many permutations, but the idea is in order to enable play, you have to give people clear goals and you have to give clear guidance on where are your no-fly zones. And then other than that, get out of people's way. The next thing is purpose. If you're a mission-driven company, it's very easy to see what the purpose is. It's much harder to come up with a purpose when you don't have a clear mission. But it's important to be authentic and not try to conflate a mission that really doesn't exist because authenticity matters. And so, an example of purpose is you work at a nonprofit that is about providing clean drinking water. You are at a company that provides financial services to the underbanked. Those are easy companies to understand what their purpose is. And then the last is potential. Potential could be learning a new industry, getting a new skill set, and it's the idea of you'll benefit in the future from some form of reward because of the experience you get. So potential, because it's so far in the future in many cases, is a motivator, but it's not a strong motivator. Purpose is a strong motivator, but it has kind of a shelf life. Whereas play is something that will always drive performance. Because if people have the freedom to create every day, the job won't seem like work. It'll be more fun, just like the name connotes. And then when we look on the negative side, emotional pressure is something like you don't want to let a colleague down. You don't want to let a manager down. A friend got you an opportunity in the company and you feel like you're underperforming, or you feel pressure because you feel like you need to look good for that friend or a relative. That is destructive because what it leads to is you making decisions based in fear rather than from a place of strength. The next pressure, which is more damaging than emotional pressure, is economic pressure, right? Everybody needs to survive, everybody needs to pay their bills. In this high inflation economy that seems to be increasing, there is a lot of pressure not to lose your job. There are mass layoffs happening everywhere. And so the worst thing that a company could do is use the veiled threat of layoffs because that's actually going to demoralize your populace. The best thing that a company could do is be transparent, talk about the macro environment and how it directly affects your company, and be realistic, be honest. If you need to do layoffs, describe and give as much runway. Tell people the rationale, give people a sense of are they on the block, and then build an internal outplacement function because everybody understands that economic conditions can lead to change, can lead to layoffs. But just as it was important to show people respect on the way in, how you lay people off and how you provide support shows them respect on the way out. And then the last and most damaging uh, negative driver of performance and culture is inertia. I think we've all been in places in our lives where we feel powerless to change things. And as a result, we stop showing up. This has been coined quiet quitting, and I think that it is so damaging to a company. And so, first and foremost, you have to identify people who are struggling with inertia, and then you have to understand the conditions that created the inertia. And then the third thing you have to figure out is, can you change their trajectory? Can you get a person out from this path of inertia? And inertia could come from many places, but often it's rooted in a fear of change and a sense that they have no impact and no ability to shape their future. A lot of autocratic top-down structures are full of people with inertia. And you could fire everybody, you could restructure, but ultimately, if your culture doesn't change, which is what led to the conditions that led to inertia, all you're doing is replacing low performers with performers that will give you a blip, but over time, the culture of your company will weigh them down and you will have turnover yet again. So this is a really, really powerful framework. And the book that I've read that has had a deep influence is Primed to Perform, which is readily available. And I highly recommend that anybody who cares about culture reads it because I think they've done an incredible job of combining best practices around organizational management with agile philosophies. Thank you.